talking about a really cool, just gorgeous bolete that comes up in the summer here in Minnesota. I got a song for you. Butryboletus, frostii. It's got red pores, but you won't die. I promise. These are just a gorgeous bolete. You can see this like candy apple red cap that might be a little sticky, red pores, and a heavily reticulate red stem. So these characteristics, with a lot of different mushrooms that we might pick in North America, that's going to inspire fear and terror in people just because of the color red. They might, think of Boletes satanas or something like that. That mushroom is poisonous, but it's only found in Europe. But there's not a lot of other mushrooms that have the combination of red cap, red pores, and heavily reticulate red stem. So they're actually pretty darn easy to recognize. You can see, just look at the texture of that reticulation. The only other mushroom I know like that is Russell's bolete, which is also edible and not as good. Another cool thing to know about these is the guttation. So the antiquated name here, Exudoporus frostii, that actually means to exude from the pores. So when I see these often in the field and it's humid out, as it often is in the summer, and I'm battling the horseflies and all that, I will see, pores giving off and exuding this kind of yellow substance. And as I understand it, it's basically the mushrooms giving off, regulating their water or sweating. Another thing to take into account, it's been hard for me, I've been eating these for years, but it's been hard for me to find a good patch because very often when I find them, they are already beset by bugs, as many boletes often are. Okay, so general cooking, these have to be well cooked, and like many mushrooms, some people will be intolerant and they could get an upset stomach even if they're well cooked. Okay, so don't serve them in large amounts to people that have never had them before. Start with small amounts. One thing you can do to make sure they're thoroughly cooked is make the ceviche I'm going to show you next week, which involves boiling them. And I made a great stock with these and a bunch of other mushrooms, but you don't want to use only these boletes because they could make it a little gelatinous. If you dry the mushrooms here, that will denature any mucilage. So these are a great mushroom. I like to take blends of lots of dried summer mushrooms and make my Italian dried mushroom soup. It's a great way to use a big mix. Okay, so these have a tart, almost sour flavor, and I like to go all in on that. That's part of what makes them really special. For example, this week, my dad had given me a bunch of walleye fillets that he got in the Boundary Waters, so I did walleye meuniere. I cooked the mushrooms, a bunch of them, a couple handfuls, sliced up in oil, and then when they wilted and got a little browned, I add a bunch of butter, a squeeze of lemon juice, and fresh herbs, and I pour all of that butter and herbs over a fried piece of walleye. And then probably the coolest thing to know is that these are commonly eaten and sold in Mexico. One of the common names is La Panza Agria, which means sour belly, hopefully because it's not going to make you sick. And I made a bunch of different Latin American things here. One of the last things I made, I took the rest of my mushrooms and added some salsa verde. Like I said, we're going all in on the sour flavor because that is one of the cool things about these. So I cooked them down with salsa verde. I add a bunch of sorrel. Then I add a little bit of potato. And we just mix everything together while it's still warm to wilt the sorrel, which, just complements that tart flavor really well. And then I take them, spread it on a couple tortillas, put some cheese in it, and then you have sour mushroom quesadillas. Pretty cool, huh? Then my favorite, I'm going to share this with you next week, is Chad Hyatt's mushroom ceviche. So I love Chad Hyatt's book. I was just out with him 2 days ago picking mushrooms for a demo he's doing in northern Wisconsin on Saturday. And the ceviche is so good. I ate this whole thing. Spicy, sour, tons of lime juice, tons of mushrooms. So good. There you go. A couple thoughts on frost bolete and a few things that I like to do with them. More information to post on my website. There's a link at the top of the video description for that. Thanks for watching.